Absolutely, Jordan. Thank you very much for having me. There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we...
The White House and the current administration continues to contradict themselves when it comes to these mysterious drones that are floating in the skies now all around America. It was just New Jersey, but we didn't stop the problem there, so now it's basically everywhere. And, you know, they'll say, hey, the drones pose no threat. The drones pose no threat. And then they'll say, but we don't know what the drones are, where they come from. But then they'll turn around and say, hey, the drones don't exist.
Tommy Pickles.
Everyone's crazy. Everyone's seeing things. There's nothing happening at all.
That boy is okay.
Later,
it's just a
FAA
flesh wound on his
and
head.
says, hey, we're willing to use deadly force against the drones. You're going to use deadly force against drones that don't exist? And then the White House will come out, they'll acknowledge that the drones are real, and then 2 days later they say they're fake. And then they all release this big joint statement saying, hey, whatever these things are, they're operating legally. People are legally operating drones, and people are legally flying airplanes, and everyone's crazy, everyone's mistaken. And then 2 hours later, they come out
The
and
injured
say,
boy's
hey,
family told ABC News on Sunday that he was hit in the chest. Oh, but in the chest.
Well, now we're banning them from flying in the sky. So it's like a total contradiction.
Do you think this was on purpose to say, see, drones are dangerous, we have to put more regulations, restrictions,
and I don't know.
Not fly our own?
Are they doing this on purpose to confuse people? Because I'm kind of stuck here. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I'm stuck. Because half of me is wondering, are they purposely spreading confusion to throw people off the trail and, you know, to stop people from figuring out what's going on here? Or is our country run by a bunch of incompetent assholes who have been caught with their pants down, who can't get their shit together, and are all scrambling, wondering what in the hell is going on, just like us? Because I know that we want to believe that they got it all together, that they know exactly what is going on. And maybe that's what they want you to believe. Maybe our government wants you to believe that they're more powerful than what they are. Maybe our government wants you to believe that they're more organized than what they really are. Maybe they want to give that impression to the entire world so the world doesn't come messing with us.
I don't know how I'm gonna
when the world
get
does
it
come
to
messing
like
with us
show my
and flying
cursor. I don't
drones,
know why.
we get caught with our pants down. The emperor has no clothes.
It
We aren't as
doesn't.
strong as you think. Our defenses, our our radar systems, what have you. Maybe we're just not really as ready as we thought. And while I still think this may be some sort of psyop, and I'll never trust what they tell us, I'm really starting to question if this is just, you know, a lot of us find it hard to believe that America is this incompetent, but maybe they are. And folks, it's not about the equipment that we have. It's about who's running the show. You can have the most high-tech equipment. You can have the most powerful military. If you have a bad commander who's calling the shots and giving bad orders, then it is what it is. So it doesn't matter if we have the most advanced technology that could stop anyone from flying near us, or we could track anything. It doesn't matter, because if people aren't
The kid is undergoing open heart surgery.
If there's not good leadership, then everything else falls apart. And right now, it looks like America has fallen apart. There's no reason why we should be scrambling and getting 15 different narratives about what's going on here.
I'm not sure where he's located, but he's in the States for
every
sure.
single freaking day. They can't even come up with a good explanation. At least come up with a good explanation that some people will believe, but they don't even put effort into doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, they used to put forth a lot of effort to cover up their lies and the crazy stuff they had going on. Now they don't even try to do that. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm not the only one.
The kid that got hit by a drone
and we even got
is undergoing open heart surgery,
out.
apparently.
One New Jersey senator was just on the news talking about this problem. So I want to go ahead and roll this clip. Let's listen to what he has to say, and then I'll be right back with more.
We spoke with you last week. Your comments resonated with our viewers who have also been frustrated by a lack of information. Tell us now, after we last spoke, what are you hearing when it comes to the drone investigation? Are you getting the answers you were demanding?
Just the opposite. It is so inconsistent. So originally we met with the state police. They didn't have any idea. People were being concerned, and then there were these secret meetings, Congress people, I assume the governor, and they said, listen, it's nothing, don't worry about it. The federal government at the beginning said, you're not seeing what you're seeing. So people started to feel a little better, and then the FAA shut down the airspace. Now, if there's nothing going on, why do you shut down the airspace? We never got an answer to why they did that. So what we have in communities now, sky watchers. In Mendham, New Jersey, they actually go out at night and watch the sky. Mayor's told me, what should we do? You know, the federal
When is it
government
gonna
has to
show
either
me my
say
cursor?
everything's
Like,
absolutely
sometimes it works,
perfect,
sometimes it
there's no
doesn't.
threat, but you can't hedge your bets. You can't say there's no threat
It's
and then
very
shut down the
annoying.
airspace. That is so
Maybe I
inconsistent
have
that people are
to...
now terribly confused.
It's safe to say you are not satisfied, along with your constituents, rightfully so. You did call for an additional FAA restrictions on drones in your state in New Jersey. The FAA has since imposed that. Have you seen an impact from that ban so far in your state?
Well, the impact is there may be less sightings, but there's more confusion. And when you have more confusion, you have more conspiracy theories. More conspiracy theories, now people are saying things that create fear. And the last thing you want with the public is fear. What you want is transparency and information, and we're not getting it.
Why do you think the ban took so long? Should it have been enacted earlier or sooner?
Of course, but we still don't know why. If you're going to say everything's okay, and then you do the ban, obviously things were not okay, and therefore
The company
they should have done
putting on the
ban
drone
earlier.
show was identified by the city as Sky Elements Drones of North Richland Hills, Texas, a Dallas suburb.
And what do you want to see done next?
That's near you. Oh wait, no, that's
what really
near
confused me,
Fort
they
Worth.
sent
The YouTube
drones
video is
to
frozen.
actual
Yeah, it's
techniques or
for some reason when I go to the
whatever they
Minecraft.
send, makes no
When I go to
sense.
Minecraft,
Doesn't the
it.
federal government, don't they watch the
I'm gonna
Doesn't
have
the
to play
Department
without a
of Defense,
mouse,
they're
I
sending
guess. Sorry
drone
guys,
watching
this is gonna be
equipment
annoying
to the
though.
state of New Jersey.
Like, why do you do that?
Why? I figured the Defense Department watches the sky all the time. That's even more scary to me. They're sending us the equipment. Don't they watch if there's an SUV-sized drone in the sky? Doesn't the Air Force know that? Now they're sending it to us, and then they're shutting down the airspace in places. This is so confusing. There must be something going on. Just tell us. We can take the truth.
Well, now I have to ask, because Senator Kim has also recommended law enforcement in New Jersey be trained on identifying drones. What do you think is the best way to prevent this from happening again?
How about the federal government? They have the ability to shoot down a drone in the Ukraine. They can follow a drone from the time it takes off until the time it lands. And they want to train us? I'll tell you, that's worrisome. I figured our country was well defended against drones the size of SUVs that are flying around. I guess they want the state to do more than we're doing. We don't have those resources. State police have a few helicopters. That's it. To train people to what? Wait, here it is. They're going to train us.
Yeah, poor kid. Fort Worth suburb. You see the mouse on the screen, but do you see? Hold on. Do you see the mouse right now? Over these buttons? Because I don't see my cursor. I see the buttons lighting up.
Don't tend to panic too quickly.
But like, I don't see the cursor itself.
There's some people extremely worried. I don't think anyone's panicking.
Do you see it?
If one of these things lands and the Martians get out, maybe they'll panic. I think they're confused. That's the first question people ask me about. Tell us about the drones. It's a secret, right? But you can tell me. I go like this.
What I want to know is why so many left Toronto airport one by one, like never ending, and all following the same path.
Anything about
Krevetka, how you doing?
When you go to a closed private briefing with people at top secret clearance. How about this? Tell the people something, but it's been so inconsistent. You tell me, we have no answers.
Thank you. He made a great point that I've been trying to make for a while here. You see, the current administration, the White House's and the Pentagon's response to these crazy drone sightings is they're sending drone detecting equipment to New Jersey and New York, and in reality they're sending
not too bad. How are you?
But the fact that they're sending this equipment in the first place should be very alarming to you.
You can see the mouse.
This is not an answer. In fact, it lets you know that we're not as prepared as we thought. Just like I was talking about.
You've been sleeping right when I put up Minecraft.
Maybe there isn't a big conspiracy here. Maybe the conspiracy is that we think the U.S. government and our military.
I built stuff. I did. Yeah, I built some. Not a lot, but some stuff.
Because, yeah, it should be concerning that they're like, oh.
I still live in the mountain, though. Like, I have to get out of here. I have to, like, get all my shit and get out of here. Because I didn't...
detecting technology.
It's not like I wanted to live here. I just used it as a shelter.
Is our country really being defended in the way it should be right now?
But...
So you mean to tell me that
I can't find this, like, one place that I really wanted to
Homeland Security, y'all aren't already on top of the drones? You aren't already detecting the drones yourself? You're trying to send New Jersey and New York and other states this equipment, and you want to train, I guess, local law enforcement to use it because it's not already in use? We shouldn't be hearing about them sending any equipment to New Jersey or New York because we should have the most advanced drone detection systems already out here.
You're doing wonderful. Good to hear.
Turns out we don't. Turns out we don't. And that right there is disturbing.
I don't think you'll be able to help me fast. By the way, where's your... But wait, actually, I wanted to find where you were located, and I forgot. I forgot your coordinates.
You know what I mean? It's weird. This is like a job for our military and for the Department of Homeland Security. I think this is a job that's above local law enforcement. I understand why they're involved, but we shouldn't be hearing about, oh, we're going to send you some outdated equipment so maybe you can detect some of these drones because the U.S. military is doing something. We have no idea what's flying over our borders, what's coming in off of our coast. So yeah, that right there lets you know that regardless of what is going on here, we're not as well defended as you thought, we're not as organized as you thought, and the rest of the world is figuring that out. Because we've been bluffing for a long time, and the rest of the world was buying that bluff, but they're no longer buying it. And that's why you see Chinese nationals getting arrested every few weeks for spying on our military bases. That's why you see all of these countries acting up. But, hey, as I keep saying, people won't take it seriously until an attack happens, and when it does, people will act confused as to how it happened. Meanwhile, the people of New Jersey, who have been screaming about these drones, are now drinking smelly tap water that smells and tastes like metallic nail polish because the water supply has been tainted. Who knows why? But anyways, let me know your thoughts below while you're down there. Hit that thumbs up.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon. I reported on this earlier tonight, but for those of you all who might be unaware, there was recently a
you decided to go to university? That's good.
Florida.
What are you gonna learn?
Now,
what are you gonna learn there?
With everything that is going
Sounds
on
like they
with
put
drones
ethanol
right
in the
now,
water.
The last place I
Why
wanna
would they
be
do that?
is at a drone show. But it turns out that these little holiday drone light shows are very popular these days. Basically, they use a fleet or a swarm of drones to create little images in the sky. For example, they were creating images of Christmas trees and Frosty the Snowman. Well, during this show, there was a large crowd gathered, and for whatever reason, the drones started malfunctioning, falling out of the sky, zipping right past people's heads. The crowd started panicking. Everyone started running in every different direction. And during the chaos, one of these drones hit a 7-year-old boy right in the chest. Now, the kid had to be rushed to the hospital and immediately had to undergo open heart surgery. That's how bad this is. The kid's in critical condition as we speak. Pray for him. And, I mean, if you look at the footage from this situation, it's very chaotic. Now, there's an investigation underway to figure out what went wrong with the drones. The story that they're going with right now is that some of these drones collided and they started falling. Now, listen. When you got hundreds of drones or thousands of drones all flying close together, it's not hard to believe that something like that could happen. But if you look at the footage and you watch closely, and I've looked at the footage, I've watched it 30 times now, some of the drones do appear like they just start falling out of the sky. You know, kind of like raindrops. They're just falling out of the sky. But other drones literally look like they just, I don't want to say intentionally, but it looks like they just dart right at the crowd. Like some drones are falling straight down, as they kind of should. If they collide in the sky, they would fall down, you think. But some are like going at an angle, just zooming like a high-speed projectile right towards the crowd. So I do have questions as to what exactly went wrong here. And I get it, maybe there's a collision in the sky, and as some of these things are falling, they're falling at different angles, and maybe they're trying to fly again, and maybe that, I don't know. You know what I mean? But some of these drones just really looked kind of weird to me, you know, because some are falling out of the sky and others are just right at people. So it was a very scary situation. But I want to go ahead and roll this news clip. Let's find out a little bit more about what transpired, and then I'll be right back with more.
out to that breaking news. Drones literally falling right out of the sky tonight during a holiday light show at Lake Eola. This happened during the 6:30 p.m. show, and after that, the city canceled their 8 p.m. viewing. West News' Tony Atkins is joining us live from downtown tonight. Tony, the FAA says they're getting involved.
What a smart
What's
idea.
the latest?
He probably already had heart issues,
just
maybe.
Confirmed that the FAA is trying to figure out what exactly happened with these drones. But imagine being right here in this very spot here on Lake Eola, and those drones. This is the area where you can see in the video those drones came crashing down. Now, I want to show you here because when we made it, we saw there was some crime scene tape up here as police sectioned this off because there was literally a drone right here that fell from the sky. So some very scary moments. I want to get to that video and show you exactly what we saw earlier tonight, those drones falling from the sky. And we did reach out to the city to see if there were any injuries. Orlando Fire said one person was taken to a hospital with minor injuries, but it's unclear at this point, based on what we're getting from the city, it's unclear to determine if that injury is related to those falling drones. Again, when we made it here, we saw the drones on the ground, including one being placed in an evidence bag. We talked to a number of people out here, hundreds of people here at Lake Eola to take in those lights. Many of them came to see that holiday drone show. Many of them disappointed, but trying to make the most of a situation here.
We heard about the drone show, but it obviously got canceled. But, you know, we're having a good time regardless. Here at the kids, I have my wife and my other daughter over there somewhere. You know, we're having a good time regardless. Yeah, making the most of it. Making the most of it.
And when we were out here, we did see a number of police officers, detectives in this very spot trying to piece together what exactly happened with the drones in the sky there. Over that way, there was a trailer. You can see folks from the drone company taking their equipment, packing it up. They left about an hour ago. Before they left, we did have a chance to speak with someone who said they were a vice president with the company. They send their sympathies to the families, and right now they're trying to figure out exactly what happened with those drones there in the sky.
Tonight, we are now learning it was a 7-year-old boy who was hit by a drone and rushed to the hospital. We have team coverage tonight. We're
going to hear what the massive drone company responsible for this show has to say. But first, the mom of that little boy speaks out, telling West 2's Spencer Tracy he had to undergo open heart surgery.
A night of holiday lights turned into a scare in the sky.
No, I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
That is video showing the drones falling over Lake Eola Park during an Orlando holiday show on Saturday night. Orlando Fire says one person was injured during the event and sent to the hospital. One mother tells us she was here sitting with her family on this brick wall during the drone show when she says a drone came falling from the sky and the unimaginable happened. She says it hit her son.
Everyone's natural instinct was to duck and scatter. And right when we knew it, my daughter found my son on the floor, unconscious, blood coming out his face.
Adriana Edgerton says her 7-year-old son, Alexander, has been in the hospital ever since.
It ended in nightmares and just feel so bad. It's 3 days before Christmas.
A spokesperson from the FAA says several of the small...
Like, who thought this was a good idea?
Drones collided and fell into the crowd at 6:45 p.m.
I mean...
Initially, there were supposed to be 2 performances. One at 6:30.
First of all, it's just creating more junk on this earth. You know how, it's I don't know, what's worse? The creation of all these drones for shows or fireworks, what's worse for the environment, you know what I mean?
And another at 8 p.m. But the second show was canceled because of the incident. Our crew saw the drones on the ground and one was placed in an evidence bag. Edgerton says more safety precautions need to be put in place, especially for big events with so many people.
This should not happen. No family should be going through this off of, trying to watch a show and have a good time.
I'm honestly surprised that stuff like this doesn't happen more often. Because these drone shows are getting very popular, but then again, am I really that surprised? Because there is weird timing here. As these other mysterious drones dominate the headlines all of a sudden, right now, out of all times, We got drones falling out of the sky hitting people at Christmas shows. So it is kind of weird. But, you know, it's also kind of ironic that this is happening at the same time that our government is telling us that the mysterious drones flying in New Jersey and various other states and hovering over military bases and stuff like that, they're telling us those drones pose no threat. Yet the innocent little drones at the Christmas show in Orlando pose a threat. I mean, one kid could have died and still, I mean, he's clinging on to life. He's lucky to be alive right now after being hit by a small drone. We got drones the size of a special ed school bus flying in the sky in New Jersey, okay? And imagine if one of those things falls on a crowd, or falls on a shopping center, or falls on a house. So they can't sit here and tell us that drones pose no threat, right? So, because I think this is a perfect example of how, on an even smaller scale, you know, having these things flying in the sky everywhere can cause problems. And it can pose a risk to the public, right? But also, the conspiracy theorist in me, or whatever you want to call it, I'm looking at this, just looking at the timing, and I'm kind of wondering, you know, because, yeah, it's obvious that these things pose a threat, you're right? That's kind of obvious. But I'm also kind of wondering, is this something
attack damage is
that
9,
kind of
attack speed
purposely
is
happened to further an agenda?
What?
Is this somehow tied to all of the other drone situations that are going on? And is all of this being used together to push an agenda? I can't help but question that. Because, I mean, I guess coincidence.
Wait, an Iron Axe also does 9?
Coincidence that in the middle of like this big drone story about these invasions of drones everywhere, that all of a sudden we got crazy malfunction.
Interesting. What's the best weapon? What do I want? I want this axe, right? Diamond
and
axe.
Christmas shows. I don't know. I just find it weird. And even if the two have nothing to do with each other, it's like, I think we got to ask the question. You know what I mean? Like, maybe the dots don't connect, but we at least got to try and see if they do. I don't think this is something that we should just automatically dismiss, like, okay, this can't have anything to do with each other at all. Because if there is some sort of psyop going on with these drones, if our government is involved in whatever the plot is behind these drones, then this very well could be connected. And
the fat stack of diamonds. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Outrage. So we're looking towards the government for even more answers, and those answers will be more regulations, and who knows what else they will pack in a bill that they'll get ready, you know, to pass. These people just don't put anything past them. I'll just say that. But for now, yeah, a very scary situation. I hope the kid is okay. If I was the mother, I would be looking into how I could sue the pants off of everyone. Because do not invite me to one of these things if they're going to be flying out of the sky at me like little mini missiles. Because that's what happened here. And you can look at the footage yourself. And, I mean, you could say, hey, maybe they just collided. Maybe it's all an
thank you,
accident, which it probably was. I'm just saying it looks
yeah, I found
weird.
2 dungeons
and
yesterday.
The timing of it is very sus. But you can feel free to disagree or agree.
And I was
gonna
go back there for some. Why was I gonna go back there?
While you're down there, hit that thumbs up.
Oh, because I found an abandoned mine shaft. That's right.
And I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.